What's up, divehards? We are here in the beautiful Bahamas. And if you know me at all, there is one reason I'm in the Bahamas. Let's go shark diving. Good morning. So I am currently aboard the Dolphin Dream, which is one of the OG liveaboards doing shark diving in the Bahamas. And the Bahamas is probably the greatest shark diving destination in the world. And that's because you can reliably find some of the most iconic shark species like bull sharks, the oceanic whitetip, and on this particular itinerary, tiger sharks and great hammerheads. But before we got on this boat, we wanted to warm up with some less serious sharks, some reef sharks in Nassau. And Nassau is an ideal place to introduce people to shark diving. It's actually where I did my first shark dive over 15 years ago. Generally easy diving, great visibility, and friendly sharks. And you can definitely go as a solo diver and just do the daily shark feeding dive out of Stewart Cove. But we decided to charter the shark boat to step things up a bit. Welcome to shark diving in the Bahamas. Okay, so we completed the overnight crossing from Miami to West End, Grand Bahama. We cleared customs and did a check dive. And now we're moored up at Tiger Beach. And if you're not familiar, Tiger Beach is probably the most famous shark dive site in the world, where you can see big tiger sharks, up to 5 meters, in beautiful shallow waters. And it's located about 25 miles north of West End, and so it's decently offshore, and there isn't a ton of cover from the weather. And because the dive site is mostly sandy bottom, and is quite shallow. I think the max depth is around 12 to 14 meters. The wind and the swell has an outsized impact on the visibility, and it's one of the main factors in being able to dive with tiger sharks safely. But so far conditions are looking decent. Reef and lemon sharks are circling the boat, and we're getting ready to do our first dive. Let's go see some tiger sharks. Okay, so we had some epic dives at Tiger Beach. At one point, 11 or 12 tiger sharks on a single dive, and conditions were pretty good. One day with great viz, 3 days with so-so viz, maybe something like 40 to 60 feet, and today we're actually just totally blown out, can't dive at all. But overall, a big success. It is super cool diving with tiger sharks, which, by the way, are incredibly shy and hard to see even in places where they're known to be found. And so here, to bring them out, we did a mix of baited shark feeds, which can get pretty intense, and less structured swim around dives where there's still a bait crate in the water off the boat, but it's a little bit more of a relaxed, natural encounter. And the sharks were still super curious and would come really close. And many of the divers were easily 4 meters long, all of them female, which is kind of interesting. And each shark has a totally different temperament. Like there's one named Jitterbug, and she's super feisty, while Freckles is basically a gentle giant. Still a tiger shark that can and would eat you, so really, really important. Keep your wits about you, head on a swivel, and ready to redirect if necessary, because things can go from calm to catastrophic in a split second. And now we're going to make the roughly 15-hour crossing to Bimini, which is where we're going to try and dive with great hammerheads. And it's peak hammerhead season in Bimini right now. The crew has been trawling for barracuda, which is one of their favorite foods. So we just need the weather to cooperate, and hopefully we get some great encounters. It's hammer time. So that was my first time in Bimini, and we got super lucky on day one. We had 3 or 4 hammerheads hang around all day, one of which was Queen, who's the biggest hammerhead, around like 4 meters. Then on day 2, it just all dried up and we basically had no action, just a lot of time spent waiting and fighting off the pesky bull sharks and nurse sharks. And the way it works in Bimini is it's basically unlimited tanks. You can stay in the water all day if you want, whereas in Tiger Beach, we do 4 discrete planned dives each day, and that's because it's a bit deeper and there's just more risk to manage. And also, Bimini is a little bit more of a show since there's no swimming around. And that's mostly because hammerheads are just way more skittish and difficult to bring in, so you basically just stay put and watch the shark handlers do their thing. And it's awesome, but overall I think 2 or 3 good days in Bimini is probably the right amount of time. And as for the Dolphin Dream, I loved the boat and the operation. It's not fancy and there isn't a ton of traditional liveaboard service like you may be used to. The crew is literally 5 people, so 2 or 3 shark handlers, the chef, and the captain, and that's it. So everyone is wearing multiple hats and they work super hard and are responsive if you need something, but also everyone's just kind of treated like an adult that can take care of themselves. Like no one's pulling your chair out or putting chocolate on your pillow or whatever. It's more of a family team vibe, which I way prefer. And they're also just fun people. Like they have Tutu Tuesdays where everyone puts on tutus, and it's just generally good vibes from an all-American crew and operation. And the rooms are small. There's just 2 big bathrooms for all 17 people on board to share, which is not something I'm used to, but it actually works great. Like they're kept clean, they're big, everyone's respectful. It worked great, it's fine. The boat itself is super sturdy and well laid out. There's redundancy of compressors and water makers, and it has every safety feature that you should expect on a liveaboard, and are frankly missing on a lot of the fancier boats, which drives me nuts. All that to say, the Tiger Beach experience on the Dolphin Dream is phenomenal. The excitement, the sharks, the vibes, the safety, seriously some of the most fun you can have diving. And I will for sure be back on that boat. But if you prefer to go land-based or you have like a small group like I often do, then I hands down recommend Epic Diving. It's run by Deb and Vinny, husband and wife. They've been doing this forever. They're the ones that introduced me to Tiger Beach many, many years ago, and I trust them fully. But of course, shark diving is not for everyone, and there's probably a lot of you that are just totally put off by the concept of a baited shark dive, and that's okay. Like, a lot of divers that I respect absolutely hate it. But I love it, and I don't think there are many dives that are as reliably as exciting as Tiger Beach. Like, even though it's literally the same dive site over and over again, and you generally know what to expect, being approached by massive tiger sharks just never gets old. And that kind of experience really is only possible reliably with bait. And in a weird way, that makes the whole experience feel a little bit less scary, since the sharks are primarily interested in the bait rather than you as a potential prey item. But that's not to say that this is a safe activity. Like, diving with tigers or oceanics or great whites or any other dangerous animal is dangerous. Like, you definitely have to follow protocols and never let your guard down. And that means always knowing where every shark is at every moment and making sure that the sharks know that you know where they are, and you do that with eye contact. And 90% of the time, like, eye contact is enough of a challenge to keep them from coming into your space, since they lose the element of surprise, and that totally changes their risk calculus. And if that doesn't work, then you have to redirect the shark physically and keep it out of your personal space. And if you can do those things correctly, the risk of getting bit is low, but not zero. And accidents can and do happen on shark dives, and it's rare, but fairly recently someone was, tragically, straight up eaten alive by several tiger sharks on a shark dive in Tiger Beach. And from what I understand, there may or may not have been some mistakes made by the operator, but it's also not clear that there was any egregious violation of protocols, and that this was a situation that started as an accidental bite that rapidly escalated into a full-on predation event by multiple tiger sharks. And this isn't to scare you or be dramatic, but I think it's worth sharing because I see a lot of divers get way too comfortable during shark dives. Like, even on this trip, there were one or two folks that were just way too focused on their cameras, constantly letting their guard down, and had tiger sharks sneaking up on them from behind. And honestly, 9 times out of 10, the sharks are going to be forgiving. But when you let a tiger shark approach you unseen and come into striking range, you're playing with fire. And the crew does their best to control the situation and keep an extra eye on folks, but it's really just one safety diver in the water at a time. And so there is risk, and you're entirely in charge of your own safety. So if you go with a healthy dose of fear so you don't act like an idiot and get eaten by a shark. And if you can manage that, then it's 100% worth it. It is just so much fun. I can't wait to go back. I love Tiger Beach. So what'd you think? Are you a shark diver? Are you adding Bahamas or Tiger Beach to the list? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, dive hard.